does. So anyway, that's what I was thinking anyway about that. Let's go ahead and jump to the next topic. And the next topic is Sebastian Stan addresses those Luke Skywalker rumors on Good Morning America. And we have a clip for you. I've already fast forwarded to 2 minutes and 52 seconds so that if you guys find this clip, which I should be able to link that for you guys, you can go ahead and just jump to 2 minutes, 52 seconds, and this is where it picks up. So join me here.
And people are wondering about you playing perhaps a young Luke Skywalker. I know he's going from Marvel to Disney and to Star Wars.
So look right here, you can see it says, "Sorry to disappoint you, but I refuse to say Sebastian Stan, I'm your father, even though in fact I am," with a winky face, teasing him, and says hashtag sorry not sorry, hashtag my son Sebastian. And this is Mark Hamill posting from his official account this picture, and he's done a bunch of these kinds of things, teasing Sebastian Stan, but also just being like, Luke, I am your father. You know, it's like the I am your father quote. It's not Luke, I'm your father. It's I'm your father. But basically saying Sebastian Stan, I'm your father, teasing both the line that always gets misquoted and teasing this about Sebastian Stan playing Luke, which makes sense. And also just the actor looking like him, which he does. Very, very much so. In fact, in case you guys hadn't seen that, I'm going to just go ahead and go like this. Mark Hamill, Sebastian Stan. Okay. So this is someone having showing side by sides. These side by sides are often pretty powerful because you can just really get a quick glance and see. Look at this. It's pretty darn close. This one's, I think someone just took his face and plopped it right onto the neck and hair of Luke. You can see this one, Sebastian Stan and Mark Hamill. This one's pretty compelling. And again, it would be a few years after we saw him in episode 6, after we saw Luke Skywalker in episode 6. So it would be a slightly older, but still young Luke Skywalker. So not old, long, long white hair, gray beard, none of that. It's still Luke right after episode 6, but only a couple of years after, right? Or only a few years after. And to me, that's the Luke I want to see. Like that's the Luke I'm looking forward to seeing. Here's another one you guys can take a look at right here. Really compelling stuff. There's a million of these. Plus, there's a bunch of these photos of Mark Hamill and Sebastian Stan teasing each other and meeting, being in the same area, same room, taking photos together. They've done a bunch of these kinds of things. Plus, you already saw the post from Mark Hamill teasing him here, and they're asking him directly about this right now.
And even Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, has tweeted his support.
Well, if Mark Hamill calls me personally to tell me that he feels inclined to share this role with me, then I'll believe it. Until then, I won't believe it.
But look at that smirk too. So here's the thing about these Marvel actors that have had to keep secrets and lie and just hide what's going on behind the scenes. They're not telling you what is coming because that would spoil surprises. I'm not saying that they are doing that right here. I'm not saying that Sebastian Stan is, but look, he's smirking over here, just kind of like having fun, trying to come on, if he calls me and tells me that, then I'll do that. But he's already gave a million written endorses publicly about this. If he calls him personally, I understand there's a touch more of personal, this is actually serious, it's not joking around. I get that. But I mean, you can't know from this interview whether or not it is or is not already the case, or whether it is or is not possible that it could happen. It's just, he could just be joking around, teasing, having fun. Again, because they've constantly been going back and forth about this type of thing. Sebastian Stan would legitimately, in my opinion, be the most perfect way to get a Luke Skywalker renaissance going. In my opinion. And I know that some people would prefer a CGI de-aged. I just don't. I don't like that as much because you just see it. There was YouTubers that were able to do a better job of de-aging Mark Hamill in on YouTube on their own time. Then they were able to kind of rush it through. But again, to the point that I made earlier about the secrecy, the deception, the lies, for the sake of not getting spoilers out or leaks out, which is a good thing. Luke wasn't even made known. Mark Hamill wasn't even manifested to the crew of The Mandalorian. They weren't all aware that Mark Hamill was going to be in the season finale. They didn't know that Luke was going to show up. Most of them, at least that's what we have been told officially. By almost everybody, they've all confirmed on the set that only a couple of people knew, including, of course, Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, probably Dave Filoni, and a couple of the others that were involved in the writing portion of the story. And then also, of course, the guys that were working on the CGI, trying to get that going, and then the people that had to be there to set up for the stunt sequences. But very, very slimmed down crew that were there for, I think it was 2 days, they said. They took 2 days out of their schedule. Maybe it was even one. But they just got it, they knocked it out, got it done, recorded the lines, and nobody else knew. In fact, I think it was, I've heard reports, I don't know if they're true. I've heard reports from some individuals, could be rumor, that Kathleen Kennedy wasn't even made aware that Luke was supposed to be in The Mandalorian season 2. And that may have had something to do with the frustrations that have happened since, to try to derail The Mandalorian. A lot of the drama that's been kicked up about Gina Carano, which turned out to be false. Even though she still got fired, it was false. It was verified false. And they didn't take her back. They didn't even apologize. And then, the drama that was trying to chase down Rosario Dawson, who plays Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian. A lot of this stuff's just kind of been derailed, and plus the plans now have to change for the ongoing series after The Mandalorian because Carano is no longer employed at Disney. So these kinds of things, it just feeds into my mind the validity of, he's over here smirking, I'll just play it back a couple of seconds for you.
Mark Hamill.
Well, if Mark Hamill calls me personally to tell me that he feels inclined to
look at his smirk,
to share this role with me, then I'll believe it. Until then, I won't.
That seemed like a sarcastic. He's like, until then, I won't believe it. Like, won't believe it? Believe what? That you got the role? It's like, I think he's just pulling us all along here. I do think, though, that if he is going to get the role, he probably not only already knows about it, but he probably has already fit for costumes and stuff like that. There's probably some project that he's going to also show up in, whether it's the Ahsoka Tano series or if it's supposed to be Rangers of the New Republic. Maybe he was supposed to make an appearance there. Who knows? Book of Boba Fett. We don't know. Wherever he's supposed to make an appearance, or if he's going to get his own series, his own film, whatever. I would be willing to bet, based on just the looks he's giving here, that kind of attitude of I can't tell you, or maybe he's just trying to playfully dodge that kind of scenario. If he calls me, then cool. I think he's probably already aware of a deal that's already been struck for him to play Luke. I bet you that's what's going on. I bet you. So anyways, that's pretty much all that there is here. This is the transcript, just saying people are wanting perhaps you playing young Luke Skywalker. So if you watch the video clip, there really isn't much more to it than this, but it does say here that Hamill already voiced his support online. In a 2017 tweet, he posted a headshot of Stan next to a still of himself taken from the 1993 film The Runner, or Time Runner. It was a remarkable match. In 2018, Hamill followed up in a reply to a fan's query on Stan. Sebastian doesn't need my stamp of approval, he wrote. He's a wonderful actor and is never less than great in everything he does. Mark Hamill's already given endorsement, at least publicly, to people online. And I understand that there's room for that wasn't legitimate, or it's not an actual deal being made. He didn't communicate that directly to Sebastian Stan, but I believe Sebastian Stan was tagged in the first one with the picture side by side of the both of them and their faces. So to me, that's that's pretty much as direct as you can get, as far as like, because that's public, right? That's like, he didn't have to reply to any of that. He didn't have to get involved, but he was like, no, yeah, that's awesome. And they've taken pictures together. He's joked about him being his son. I already showed you guys this one here. Like this, no, wait, where is it? The picture. Where is the tweet? Oh yeah, look at this. This is fun. Sebastian Stan, I appreciate this and thank you. Went out for Star Wars 4 times, but it wasn't meant to be. Didn't even know what role for at the time. Who knows in the future, but will certainly consider. Thanks, Kylo Reyes. So someone had shared this to Sebastian Stan, and him, of course, being like, I guess he went out for a role for Star Wars. I don't know which one he was going out for. He didn't give us a timeline either, because he went out 4 times for Star Wars. Could have been the sequel trilogy. It could have been for Rogue One. It could have been for The Mandalorian. It could have been for the prequels. I mean, he's been acting for quite some time now. The prequels, he could have even been going out for that. So who knows? But if he does get a shot, I mean, it would be a sin, and it would be an unforgivable sin for him to get a role in actually to not get a role in Star Wars, period. But for him to get a role in Star Wars and not play young Luke, that'd be an absolute tragedy, honestly. Absolute tragedy. And I mean, talk about perfect casting. I mean, geez. Anyway, this one's like, they're like, it's a face morph. It's like, this is Sebastian Stan. Doesn't make a difference, dude. Look, it still looks like slightly older Luke. Plus, this is just a different angle. You know, like Mark's chin was down, his was forward, right? So it's like, dude, of course it's a face morph. Doesn't matter. He still looks freaking exactly like Luke. Look at that. That's not a face morph. Sold me. All right. So anyway, that's enough about that. You guys, let me know what you guys think about all this in the chat. I hope that we can get to some of these in just a second. But now let's go ahead and wrap that up. And I've got one more thing I want